You can forget about everything that I said in the entire video. Just remember this one thing, is to love yourself, because there's no one else in this world that's gonna love you more than yourself. You're the only person that you can rely on and should rely on, no matter how close you are with someone else. Because at the end of the day, someone that loves their self will be able to love others the same. So just remember that. And the more you love yourself, the more you realize how simple life is and how enjoyable life is. Don't let others tell you who you are. So while driving, I kind of thought to myself how peaceful it was, and I was trying to think of why driving makes someone so, calm, And one thing that I realized was it wasn't just the driving part. I mean, driving is fun. Again, for some people, they do enjoy driving in itself. But the most important part I kind of thought about was when you're driving, you're usually so focused on the road, right? You're focused on pretty much the moment you step foot into a car, you need to realize that you're putting yourself in somewhat of a danger, right? No matter how safe a car is, there's always a chance of an accident, regardless of how good you are at driving. Because again, for most accidents happen because somebody else made a mistake, And so that kind of made me think, maybe driving is such a calming thing to some people is just due to the fact that you're so focused on pretty much staying alive. Like, regardless of your driving style, whether it's like a speeder or you're just like a calm driver, regardless, you're 80%, I would say 80% of your focus is on the road, trying to stay alive, trying to not get into an accident. And this gets more intensified as you drive faster or more dangerous vehicles. Because again, I used to ride a motorcycle a long time ago, and I would just find so much joy in it, okay? And part of it was speed. I'm not gonna lie, part of it was speed. There are certain feelings you get while riding a motorcycle that you can't kind of replicate with a car, no matter how fast a car is. Because the only way you can get that same feeling from a motorcycle to a car would be if you buy like a Pagani, Because the motorcycle that I rode was 1000cc, a Yamaha R1, 0 to 100 under 3 seconds. That's crazy. And it goes up until 300 kilometers per hour. And that's faster than most cars can go, not because they're not capable, but because they're usually electronically locked when they, like German cars, like a BMW or Benz, when they come to Korea, they get electronically locked at 250 kilometers per hour. While riding my motorcycle, I would say 99% of the focus was on the road. Trying to look for any potholes, trying to look ahead to see if there's any dangers ahead, and just trying to keep my balance so that I don't slip off when I'm cornering and stuff. And again, part of the fun in motorcycle driving is the manual experience. You have to upshift, downshift. And so 99% of the time, I'm just thinking about how the fuck do I stay alive? How the fuck do I not crash? And so I don't have time to be worried about my feelings. I don't have time to be worried about anything else. While driving a motorcycle, I've never ever thought of, oh shit, I have a test that's due tomorrow. No. The only thing I'm just thinking about is, please no car ahead. Please no pothole ahead. Please don't break down. Like, I only have these thoughts. Before I rode my motorcycle, before I rode a car, I used to ride a lot of public transportation, especially when I went to school and came back. And when I use public transportation, I realized that there's only really two versions of me when I take public transportation. Number one is an overthinker. And I'm sure a lot of you guys that overthink pretty often would kind of understand what I mean by it. But you start off with those little things, and then that starts to infect other thoughts. You start to overthink like crazy. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys might kind of, understand what I mean by it. Starting from little thoughts like a test tomorrow, then that suddenly becomes into a question of whether or not you're living life properly just because of that one test, right? So that's the first version. The other version is I just scroll through social media just to get time off. Again, that's like another way that people kind of get out of their thoughts, because again, it's like an easy way out to not think. That's why we call it the brain dead videos, because it literally shuts your brain off from thinking. You're just scrolling, you see a cat dancing. I mean, what is there to think about? You're just consuming the content. So why am I talking about this? Well, I always had that slight thought of why others, including me, would usually just go on like a random night drive all of a sudden. That's when I kind of realized that there are some truth to the words of maybe you're not busy enough. You know what I mean? When you're so busy in trying to live, right? You start to forget all those negative things and you only start to focus on what's in front of you. Focus on what you can do right now to get out of the situation. Social media made the world look so easy. Made things like water, house, and food such a normal thing that if you don't have them, you're like stupid. You know what I mean? Made them so minuscule. It's almost as if it's just a basic part of life, that it's free, right? And so we don't really feel any importance on that. I think we can all agree on that, how social media kind of made this whole representation of money very cheap and easy to make. And that's why it's so important to love yourself as well. Like I said, if I didn't care about what happened to my life, I wouldn't be focused on the road driving. Because I love myself, I always try to do my best to keep myself alive. The time that you're using to overthink, try to do something productive. And if you can't find anything productive, the easiest thing, again, that I found was to just go to the gym. You don't even have to think when you're at the gym. Don't try to even think what I should do. Don't try to think how many sets I did. Don't try to think how many reps I did. Look, I'm not saying I'm any like world-class athlete, but I was still able to be very athletic without any planning, Most of the time, I would just find myself in the gym, hitting reps over reps until I get like tired, and then I would hit other parts of the body. In fact, I didn't even have a proper routine. I just went, if my back hurts a little, I'll do my biceps, I'll do my chest. If my chest hurts a little, I'll do my back, vice versa, Because I feel like 90% of people that go to the gym should just go to the gym for the sole purpose of going to the gym. Not to become the next Mr. Olympia, but just to, spend time there. You don't even have to work out properly. Just by walking on the treadmill or riding a bike for like an hour is already good enough to keep you healthy. And it's a way better solution to keeping your mind off, or even if you're gonna be overthinking, exercising and overthinking creates these healthy dopamines to keep you in a happier mood. So instead of overthinking while watching social media, you can replace that with just going to the gym. Or if you don't want to go to the gym, just buy like a very cheap bike in your house and then just hop on that for like an hour. And if you feel like you're overthinking, just hop on a bike and think. You might find yourself thinking about happier things, happier thoughts. Or you might find a solution to the problem you were overthinking. Again, I'm not trying to advocate that that's a good thing. If you have time and if you want to really build your body, creating a plan is good. So yeah, just think about that. I feel like we're just so obsessed these days. You know what I mean? We forget to appreciate the little things. So if I were to sum up what I want to say in this video, number one, appreciate the little things. We live in a world where it's so busy, so many people making millions of dollars, that it makes these necessities such an unimportant thing. But as long as you have 3, there should be no reason as to why you should feel anxious besides love. Number 2 is try to replace your time on social media on other things. Or if you're gonna use social media, then make sure you keep your mind straight and just watch it for the sole purpose of entertainment. You know, make sure it doesn't really affect the person who you are. Or use social media as a learning platform. And third,
800m 앞 시속
love yourself,
60km
man.
구간입니다. 속도와 신호에
Because
주의하십시오.
it doesn't matter if you have necessities. It doesn't matter if you love someone. It doesn't matter if you don't watch social media. If you don't love yourself, it's really hard to find a meaning of life. Because there really is no meaning of life until you find responsibilities, which comes with love, right?
450m
If you can't love
시속
yourself, how can you
60km
properly love
구간입니다.
someone else?
속도와 신호에
How can you properly
주의하십시오.
love your children, right? And I feel like it's like one of those like beautiful equations, because the more you love yourself, the more you realize how precious time is. Hence why I said the most important part is loving yourself. I feel like you can forget about everything that I said in the entire video. Just remember this one thing, is to love yourself, because there's no one else in this world that's gonna love you more than yourself. Okay?
450m 앞 시속
It's just
60km
the way it
구간입니다.
is.
속도와
Okay,
신호에
maybe there's an
주의하십시오.
exception. Motherly love. I would put that as an exception. Motherly love, because it exists. It exists. But besides that, you're the only person that you can rely on and should rely on, no matter how close you are with someone else. Because at the end of the day, someone that loves their self will be able to love others the same. So just remember that. And the more you love yourself, the more you realize how simple life is and how enjoyable life is.
속도와 신호에 주의하십시오.
Don't let others tell you who you are. So I just wanted to tell you guys this. I don't know why it became a 35-minute video. I'm probably gonna just edit out some parts of the video. As always, I'm rooting for you, and have the greatest day. I'll see you tomorrow.